Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 29 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on doing at least 2 things every day I don't want to do just because I know it's good for me. So yay for day 29 and 71 days still to go. So, today I've been thinking a little bit about the things that I don't want to do versus things that I do, and realizing that sometimes I don't know, I feel motivated and ready and willing and I just do stuff and it's not a struggle. It's not a battle. It's okay. Um, so like, for example, today I was at the temple, I finished my shift, and then right after that, they said they needed patrons to do stuff. And I said, sure, I'll do that. Like, I didn't even think about it. There was no argument. There was no problem. There was no issue. I just stayed and I did it and it was fine. But sometimes I don't want to stay. Sometimes I don't want to do things. Like, I didn't want to go grocery shopping and I'm running out of food, so I need to go grocery shopping. And I have the money to go grocery shopping. I just don't want to do it. So I didn't. So now I have to scrounge in my cupboards to find food, which I had some, so I'm making food, so that's fine. But and making plans to go grocery shopping next week. Just didn't want to do it today. Yeah, anyway. Just me and my lovely little excuses because I don't always want to do things. And so I find it interesting to me that sometimes things are really seem easy for me to do, and sometimes they're like a huge struggle. Like today, I'm trying to read my scriptures and meditationals, and I'm reading them, and I get this thought in my head, and it's a nice thought. It's the message my Al-Anon J friend about my grief work, because I think I've done some since the last time I talked to her, and I need to do some more. So I figured we can just, randomly pops into my head. I should message her and say, hey, let's meet tomorrow and do this. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that after I'm done with what I'm doing. And I pushed it out of my head, and it kept popping into my head, and it was distracting me from what I was reading, and I was just annoyed, and I was like, just go away. So then I finished what I was reading, and I went to grab my scriptures because I was done with my meditationals, and I realized I couldn't remember what I was supposed to do. Well, I just said I would do later because I was arguing with that voice in my head. And so I tried to flip back through my meditationals, see if I could trigger something in my brain to remind me what I was supposed to do. And I'm like, nothing. And then I grabbed my scriptures and popped back into my head again. And this time I was like, oh, my Al-Anon J friend. Okay, I love my Al-Anon J friend. And then I was happy to do it because now I remembered what it was. And I forgot what it was that I didn't want to do that I needed to do. So I freaked out because I forgot what it was that I needed to do. And I started thinking about it today, and I realized that maybe the things I don't want to do are the things that, there are things that are good for me and there are things that I need to do, but it's probably more the things that I'm just arguing with God about doing because he's giving me this prompting and this inspiration for whatever reason it is, and I'm just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it today. And then I usually, have my little tantrum, and I'll get up and go, okay, fine, I'm just going to do it. And today it didn't get to that, okay, fine, I'll do it. It was like, okay, I'll do it later, and push it aside. And then I'm like, oh crap, I forgot what I was supposed to do. And that kind of freaked me out just a little bit. So I was like, I need to do better at just doing things, because sometimes I think for me, and I have to do things when I think about them, because otherwise I forget or I get distracted or it gets really late. And then I'm like, okay, I'm too tired. I'll just do it another day. And it just adds to my pile of stuff that still needs to be done, and my to-do list that just keeps growing and not getting done. So it's better for me to do things, if I can do them, at the time that I think about it, even if it means stopping what I'm doing to do that thing and then coming back to whatever it was that I was doing. So in this case, this morning, I finished my meditationals, forgot what I was doing, grabbed my scriptures, remembered what it was, so I stopped, I did it, and then I went back and read my scriptures. And it worked. It was fine. I don't always do that. That is not something that I always do. So that is just at least one example for me today. And I think God is just trying to help me to understand myself through this process of doing things that I don't really want to do, and how to get myself to overcome that hurdle. Because for me, even if it's something good, like texting my friend, if I'm busy doing something else and I don't want to do it, it becomes like this giant hurdle. It becomes this huge thing. It becomes really hard for me to do. And then it just kind of, and then sometimes it just, the thought won't go away, and then I won't do anything else because I don't want to do that one thing, and then nothing else gets done. not that I'm not capable of doing all of those other things. It's just like this one thing I don't want to do just seems to stand in the way of everything else that needs to be done. And it seems silly, it seems crazy, but that's what happens for me. And I struggle with that hurdle. So I'm trying to find ways or learn ways to face whatever that one thing is that seems to be standing in my way of doing all the other things that need to be done. And I still don't have an answer to that. So I really don't. I'm still learning about myself and about how I work and what works for me. Something I've never taken the time to try to figure out before. So this process is kind of forcing me to do that. Maybe forcing isn't the right way, but it's helping me to do that. It's showing me a different way. It's showing me how what things I struggle with, and how some things I struggle with on one day and the next day I don't have an issue with. Like some days I will get up to my alarm and it's no big deal. And other days I'm just like, alarm? Seriously? Why are you even going off? I am not getting out of bed. Like, some nights I can go to bed and I will sleep because I'm tired. And other nights I will go to bed and I can't sleep even though I am tired. So I can't really predict what my brain is going to do or what my body is going to do or how it's going to respond to any given situation. I haven't figured that all out yet. But I am learning that the things I don't want to do, if I face them, if I'm willing to do one of them, it takes down a hurdle. It takes down something that's blocking other things that need to be done. And I find that I end up doing a lot more things at the end of the day because I did one or two things I did not want to do. But it cleared the path somehow to motivate me or to open up whatever it was, the other stuff that I was willing to do, to be like, hey, now this stuff I can do because the thing I didn't want to do is done. So there's still lots of things I don't want to do. And my day is not over, and I don't want to stay up tonight to do all the stuff that I need to do today. I already don't, because I didn't do laundry earlier today, and I've got laundry going tonight, and if I do all of my laundry tonight, I will be up until way too late. So I will probably only do one load of laundry tonight, even though I probably need to do 3 or 4 loads of laundry. And I will have to worry about the rest of them another day because I'm too tired to do it tonight. I don't want to be up all night. And I probably should do some dishes today, and I probably will not do that either. But I think I will definitely write in my journal tonight because I know that will help me. And I am definitely making food, getting creative with what's left in my cupboards to make food because I just don't want to go grocery shopping. But also this morning I did do some other things. I tried to take a nap this morning. I tried to go back to sleep because I only slept for like 5 hours, and I'm like, I didn't sleep for days. Well, not days, but it felt like days. And then I slept last night. I was so tired. I'm like, I'm going to sleep. And I've got like 10 hours I can sleep, and it's going to be fantastic. And I slept for 5. And I was like, seriously? I got 5 more hours. I can go back to sleep. And I tossed and turned for over an hour and could not go back to sleep. And I was just annoyed. And then I did what I always do. And then I realized that I have these, I guess they're like built-in things that I do or that I've done, and I guess they're coping mechanisms, probably stuff that I developed when I was a kid growing up, and they're really hard to get rid of. And maybe they worked when I was younger, but they don't work as an adult, because as a kid, if I couldn't do what I wanted to do, like, sleep, I would just do something else, like read a book or daydream or, something. And I would hide in my room, and I would avoid people and situations and life. And when you're in school or you're a teenager or whatever, you can get away with that. When you're an adult and you have responsibilities, that doesn't really work because nobody else takes care of my responsibilities for me. And I can't just call in sick to work or not show up to work because I just didn't sleep the night before and I'm frustrated. So I just want to stay home and try to sleep, or stay home and play on my phone or watch TV and just, zone out. I feel like I turn into a zombie or something where I'm just like, I'm zoned out. I'm not focused on anything because I'm pissed off that I can't go to sleep. And I've done that. I don't even know how many times in my life I've done that or how often I do that. And I did that this morning, which was not the brightest thing in the world, but I did get up, I got something to eat, and then I just kind of zoned out, not sleeping, but just kind of zoning out. And then I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to try to go to sleep. So I tried to take a nap. And then, I don't know if it was my ADHD medication that kicked in or just my brain, but I'm like laying there in the quiet, trying to sleep. And then all of a sudden thoughts start flowing into my brain, and I was like, no, not again. So, but this had to do with editing. And so I got up. I didn't want to get up, but I got up and I sent some text messages out to some people. I didn't get responses. Well, I got a response from one person. I didn't get a response from the other person. I think I only actually sent out 2 text messages. It wasn't like I sent out a whole bunch of text messages. I just looked some things up, is what I did. Because I went and looked up what my writing friend told me, the person that she sent her book to be edited, and the other person she had a suggestion from. I went on the Facebook, the Annual page, at the couple of people that the information they gave me, and so I wrote down those names, and then I messaged my sister because she has a friend that does editing too. So I sent my sister a text and asked her about that information. So I wrote it all down. So I have a list of like different people that I can talk to about editing my book, and all of which I think are different prices, going to be a different price and different time frame. Because one person said they have openings now, they can edit my book now, but I don't know how much exactly that's going to cost, and I don't know exactly which edit I want them to do. And then of course there's that publishing company my editing friend wants me to use, which I don't have a problem with them. I just don't know that I can afford that. It's just really too expensive for me right now. And then of course there's my sister's friend that she knows, and then there's the one for two for my writing group, and two or four, I think there's 4. 2 people volunteered on the Annual page, and one person sent me a link for 2 other publishing companies or editing companies. So I was like, great. So now I have 6 or 7 options as far as getting my book edited, which is fantastic. But now I have too many options. And I don't know which one to pick. And I kind of am leaning towards one in particular, and I don't really have a particular reason for it. I don't know if it's just because the price is right, or if that's what God's telling me to do and that's what I should be doing, or what the deal is. And part of me is curious, if I can send it to multiple editors so I can kind of get a feel as to how they each edit my book and decide which one I like the best. But again, I don't have the money. I can't afford to do that. Because if I could afford to do that, I just go with the one that's the most expensive one that my editing friend wants me to do, and I wouldn't worry about all the other avenues. So it creates more dilemmas in my brain, and I don't like that, because I do something that I feel like is supposed to be productive and helpful for me, and I realize that eventually it will be, but in the meantime, all it does is give me more options and more things to figure out. So that was a thing that I did that did not remove a hurdle for me. I felt like it created more hurdles for me, because now I have more things I have to figure out, I have to sort out, I have to solve, because there's multiple options, and maybe they're all good options, and I just don't know which one would be best for me, or which one I know there's at least one that I can afford, but I don't know what the price of all of them are, so I don't know which ones I can afford. So I don't know how picky I can be, because, editors are like, I only have certain time slots or spaces, this is what I do, whatever. And I'm not really sure how that works, because my sister said the same thing about her editing friend, but she's not an opening until April. And someone else was like, I have some openings now. And I was like, okay, but I'm not jumping on it right now because I don't know how much it's going to cost me. And then someone else has an opening in March. So I'm just kind of like, what's my time frame? How soon do I want to get this done? And I know I can't put it off indefinitely, because then I will lose all of the slots and I will have nobody to edit my book. My brain. I apologize. This is what my brain does. I was like, it's one thing that's supposed to be so simple, and it turns it into something that's so complicated, and it's not meant to be super complicated. So I messaged my editing friend. I sent her a message, and I sent her some of the other editors, and I'm like, I know you want me to do this company, and I'm not opposed to meeting with them, but there's some other options. What do you think? Let me know. And I haven't heard back from her, so I don't know if she didn't get my text message, if she hasn't had a chance to look into them, or hopefully she didn't get offended by that, because that would not be good. That's not my goal, because I don't want to offend her, and I don't want to not meet with this editing company to find out what my options are. I really just want to know what my options are so that I can make an informed choice, which I think is good for me, because I also have that impulse thing where I'm like, ooh, I want to do this, and I just do it. And I don't take the time to see what my other options are, because I don't know what that is about me and my personality. It's been that way my whole life. I'm like, I made a decision. Like when I went to buy a car, the first time I did it with my aunt, and we went to a dealership and I drove a car. I'm like, nope, I want this one. And she's like, okay, let's leave and then come back and you can think about it and decide. I'm like, but I want that car. And of course I got a better deal by leaving and coming back, but I was like, I still want that car. So, once I saw it, once I had my eyes on it, I'm like, that's the one I want. That's the one I'm getting. I didn't even look at any of my other options. I didn't even care about anything else. I'm like, nope, I just want that one. But, if it's something I don't want or something I'm not interested in, it takes me a while to do that. When I bought a townhouse, I looked at some different ones, and the one that I ended up picking was, it took me a couple of weeks to decide because I didn't like the decorations, the decor, and the coloring of the house when I bought it. But I liked it. And so I realized that all that other stuff was going to come out, and I got something better that I liked, that I could paint and put all the other colors and everything that I wanted into it. And I liked it much better once I moved in and had my stuff in it versus, the other people's stuff when I was looking at the house. So it was hard for me to separate what was already there versus what the potential of what it could be. So it took me some time to just kind of work that out and be like, okay, I think I'm okay with this one. So sometimes it takes me longer to make decisions, but sometimes once I make a decision, I'm just kind of stuck on that and I don't pay attention to any other options. So this time I'm trying not to get sucked into one particular option. I'm trying to find out the best option because I do want it to be good. And I also want to find options or have options for in the future. So I know if this works for this book, it should work for my other books. And then I have like a line, a path or whatever, so I don't have to do this ever again. I'm hoping I don't have to do this process ever again. Like I'm hoping to just keep track of all of it so I can just do it the one time and then just repeat what I did because it worked. Of course, if it doesn't work, then I've learned something and then I have other options to go hopefully fall back onto. So it's not putting all my eggs in one basket, so to speak. But it's outside of my comfort zone. I don't like doing research. I don't like trying to figure out all of this stuff. I just want like the simplest, easiest answer. And I just want to go with that. And that isn't always the right answer. It isn't always the best answer. And sometimes I just want somebody else to give me the answer, which my editing friend is doing with this other company, but I know I can't afford it. And so it just doesn't feel like a right answer for me. Might work for somebody else if they could afford it. So I'm having to do the research that I don't want to do. And I'm having to get feedback and information, which is a good thing from other people. And then I'm going to have to make a decision based on all of that. And it may or may not be what my editing friend thinks I should do. And it doesn't matter what she thinks I should do because it's my book. Not that I don't care about my editing friend and not that I don't care about her opinion, because I do care about her opinion. I am grateful for her help with my book. I was hoping she would just edit it for me so I wouldn't have to do all of this, but she doesn't really have the time. And then she's realizing that all the extra work that has to go into it. And once again, this is the simpler, easier answer, is just to pay somebody else to do it. And I'm like, yep, it is. But if I'm going to pay somebody to do it, I'm going to pay somebody in my budget to do it, not somebody outside my budget. So anyway, I will figure it out eventually. But I don't like all of it hanging around in my brain and having to deal with all of that and still having to get other things done. But at least I don't feel like, other than in this video, I'm not ruminating about it. I'm not spending my entire day doing it. I'm responding to people and I'm doing the other things that I know that I can do. And I am trying to trust that God will help me figure out the best route at some point. And like I said, I circled one of the names on there because I know what the price is going to be for that. And I feel the most comfortable with that. And that's the one that can edit my book in March. So that's only a few weeks away. And I think that will probably be okay. But still going to wait to hear back from my editing friend and possibly from my sister's editing friend. But that one can't do anything until April. So we'll see what happens with the one in March, assuming I do that one, because I haven't decided yet. I don't like indecision in my life either. So I'm having to deal with things that I don't like, even if it's not like physically things that I have to do. It's still things that I have to deal with that I don't necessarily like. And indecision is one of them. And research I don't like doing. And having to wait for responses from other people and having to wait to make decisions. I don't like doing any of those things. So today, this is more of a mental exercise of things that I don't like having to do. But if I want to make the best decision, if I want to make the informed decision, I have to wait. And I have to weigh all of my options. And I have to do the pros and cons. and I have to not be impulsive and just go with what I want, because that sometimes works for me actually, but it usually gets me in trouble with other people, and I stomp on other people's feelings, and I hurt other people's feelings in the process, and I'm trying to do it better, differently. So I'm hoping this is different. I don't know how that's going to work either. So I'm doing something outside my comfort zone, and I don't like that either. So that is my things I don't want to do that I'm dealing with today. And sometimes taking down hurdles is helpful. And in this case, I feel like I'm building hurdles. Not trying to, but it feels like that to me. So this is me and my crazy brain. So thank you for listening to me and putting up with me, and for watching my videos. And if you like my videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe have the courage to do one or two things today that you don't really like to do, but you know would be good for you.